Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, big shout out to Swift, Jarrett, Hurd, also Erislandy, Lara. They put on an instant classic, and you are about to witness the Boxing Ego, the Ego Realest breakdown for Lara versus Hurd on Showtime. Big shout out to Showtime as well. The triple header was very good. I got fortunate to cover the fight live. Listen, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Certain fights, when you cover them live, you're like, oh, that was cool, or that was a bad fight. The main event, I expected more, things of that sort. Then there's other fights like this fight where you're like, I'm fucking glad I came. And like I said, thank you guys to the fans for the support, because I'm really glad I got to witness this one live. There's certain fights like that. Covered Canelo Golovkin live, Terrence Crawford when he set history with Ndongo, both Andre Ward versus Kovalev fight. Those were fun fights to be at, and this was no different. This was an epic, kind of a tug of war. Both guys showed true grit, and I'm sure people's opinions went both ways. Now, I will say this: I covered the fight live, so I was just scoring from the eye test. I want to just give over my overall thoughts. I don't know when or if I'm gonna get to watch it on DVR. The live experience is sometimes different, so I'm just gonna kind of recap what I've seen tonight. And for starters, it was just a hellacious battle. Both guys showed what they're made of. This is, I hate to sound cliche or corny, but this is a fight where there's no real true losers, because nobody went out there and got like the dog shit kicked out of them and looked horrible and just got totally outclassed and embarrassed. This was a fun fight to watch. Round one, I thought he was just more effective, more accurate. He had a sniper left. I gave him round one. And I tweeted this. I said, told y'all, round two, Hurd already making Lara fight more than other past opponents. Good fight. Hashtag Lara Hurd. And you'll see stuff on the screen, possibly tweets, possibly some of the information that was sent over from the company in email, like with stats and stuff like that. So you can see, I'm not going to go over all the particulars, but you'll be able to see some of that throughout the video randomly. And like, honestly, this fight played out exactly like I thought. If you guys listen to the stuff I was saying on live streams and pre-fight, I said it's a 50-50 fight, and it was a pick'em fight. And I'm interested to see who makes the adjustments, because on one hand, I said I could make an argument for both, and some people didn't understand. And now look at it. This is exactly how it played out. Some people will think that Erislandy Lara, even despite getting knocked down in round 12, they're going to say Lara won this fight. And some people are going to like what Hurd did. It was that type of fight, rough and tumble. I also tweeted out, Hurd got a chin and a relentless pressure attack. Hurd is on some 2018 black Antonio Margarito type shit. A guy who's pretty tall, a guy who's known for having a good chin and relentless in his attack, even if you outbox him and stuff like that. And this fight got me hyped for the Jermell Charlo fight, and I'm going to explain a little bit more later. And I also tweeted, Lara's uppercut is stupid. Hurd caught Lara flush at the end of the round 7. This is a good ass fight. Like, I was just ecstatic. One thing that impressed me with Lara is his ring generalship and control. It's just utterly ridiculous. What I mean by that is there would be some times where Lara would spin around Hurd and like protect himself and kind of jockey for position, so Hurd couldn't rabbit punch him or anything. Like, he's like a master class boxer. And it's crazy, some of these Cubans, how calm they look, even under duress, even when the guy's coming full steam ahead, they're just super calm. And that's where Lara's talent level and experience show up. He was just the ultimate ring general. Now, as far as Hurd, what I like with Hurd is just he's rugged, he's relentless. Like I said, Black Margarito type, where he's gonna try to find a way to hunt you down and break you down. So if you're not in phenomenal shape, if you ate that extra donut in training camp, if you cheated yourself in any way, Swift Hurd is going to find that out. Because if you don't just get in there and just bomb him out and give him something where he just has no chance but to respect you, then you're in for a tough night. Listen, I'm not going to do the typical good, bad, and the ugly, because I didn't really see much bad and ugly. I thought the scorecards were fair. The fight was epic, instant classic. Definitely put it up there for this year with other Showtime fights and other fights in general. But I think the Wilder-Ortiz fight was very fun. And this, so Showtime's killing HBO. So I'm not going to really do the good, bad, and ugly, because I didn't really see much bad and ugly. I asked Jarrett Jarrett Hurd, excuse me, post-fight, I was like, what'd you think of the refereeing? Because I thought he pretty much stayed out of your way and let you guys fight, which was amazing and made for this good fight. And he agreed. He said referee Robert Byrd was just like, he was doing his thing. Like, he just allowed us to fight. Because when you fight a guy like Lara, you never know. It could be bad because the referee might intervene. Like, just look at the Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. Look at that fucking ref, and then look at the ref tonight. You know what I mean? And you're gonna see a big difference. The Joshua Parker ref was horrible because he wouldn't let them work on the inside. This referee, it's like, see, the thing, this is how I look at it. This is how I've always viewed boxing. The referee is supposed to be like he's not really there unless you guys really need him. He's almost like a ghost. Unless somebody like is out of order and is anarchy and both fighters are rabbit punching and low blow, then he needs to assert himself and regulate what's happening. But if it's just a fight and both guys are working, one arm free and shit, just inside work, then the ref pretty much doesn't need to be there. You know what I mean? Like I said, a very good contrast of recent fights is Anthony Joshua versus Parker versus this fight. I thought the refereeing was officiated superb. I thought the scorecards were very fair. It was a split decision, which I would expect from a fight like this. And everybody had the guys winning like 114, 113 or close. You know, you get some of these fights and the margin, even if you had Joshua winning or whoever, it's like, did he really beat Joseph Parker by 10 rounds or something? So I just really enjoyed this fight. And Hurd just proved that you can't doubt him. We all knew he lacked the skill in terms of technical skill and ability, less of a defense than Lara, like when compared to Lara, kind of like Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. But guys are showing you that through it all, if you have the right heart and the right style and enough of the right attributes, you can overcome those things. It wasn't that Lara had a shitty game plan. It was that Hurd used his attributes to the best of his benefit. So I personally, I gotta watch it again because the live experience is often different than watching it on TV because there's an instant replay and stuff like that. I had Lara winning a tight fight, but I'm not mad at Hurd winning. You get me? Because that 12th round for some people probably was a deciding factor. So it was that type of fight. Like, I got to really watch it again because some of those rounds, maybe watching on TV, I would have scored them different because there were some swing rounds that really could have went either way. So it's a little bit different on the live experience, but from the live experience, I would have had Lara winning by the round or two, even with the knockdown. But again, don't hold me to that. My opinion on this type of fight subject to change because, like I said, Hurd was doing a lot of good stuff. First of all, Hurd looked huge in the ring. He looked a lot bigger than Lara, and he used that to his advantage. As I mentioned, he was stalking, praying, showed his toughness, showed his grit, showed his hunger, and really the stuff he said pre-fight. And he overcame the obstacle which is a decorated veteran. Another thing I like that Hurd did, from an early point in the fight, he went to the body. Very smart on a Cuban, a guy who's moves or has the ability to move, and he was dumping to the body. They both landed some pretty good uppercuts throughout the fight. I was just really surprised. Another thing, one thing I will say for Erislandy Lara, part of this is kind of like Pacquiao Horn, where if Lara made certain adjustments, the fight could have looked easier. Kind of remind me of even Tim Bradley versus Provodnikov in a way. Not that he got battered in the first 2 rounds, but just in the sense that you got to fight smart. Lara spent his whole career fighting smart and utilizing his best attributes, like when he fought Canelo or whoever, right? And then you get in the guy with like this. See, this is the thing. I think Lara almost underestimated Jarrett Swift Hurd. He's like, I beat Paul Williams, who's a better fighter, and he's taller than you, and I beat him. And even though they had him losing, he really won that fight if you go watch it. But see, this is the thing, is Jarrett Swift Hurd, who knows what he rehydrates to? He looked big, you know what I'm saying, like mass-wise. Paul Williams was like lanky. He was tall, but he was lanky. You know what I'm saying? So Hurd might have more power at 54. Plus, when you fought Paul Williams, that was years ago. You get me? So I think Erislandy Lara may have made the classic mistake of underestimating his opponent. Like, he even went as far as saying that Hurd is not even top 10 out of the best names that I fought, which I don't know. You know what I mean? Would you put Carlos Molina and Delvin Rodriguez and guys like that over Jarrett Swift Hurd? So I think he may have underestimated him a bit, and that's why he thought he can get away with fighting the way he did, fighting in pocket, like, because I don't know, maybe he fought with the chip on his shoulder. I don't know. You'd have to ask Erislandy Lara, but Lara has a bad rap for making fights boring and being boring or running or whatever the fans say. We know what it is, sweet science, but that's what some people say. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's a miscalculation. Or once you see that Hurd was so focused and hungry, I think Lara should have made some adjustments to not sit in there and trade as much, because this guy is like huge next to you and he's relentless, and it looks like he could take a shot and keep on trucking. And we've seen that even in his other fights with like Austin Trout and things like that. And I will say this, Hurd, he's lucky that he fought Austin Trout first and then Erislandy Lara, because it looks like he learned a lot in that Austin Trout fight. Not that his defense is much better, but just having that experience, he had to bite down in that fight too, in the Tony Harrison fight. So to me, he had the type of fights that really ready him for Erislandy Lara. If he didn't fight Tony Harrison and he didn't fight Austin Trout at southpaw, then Lara probably would have beat him. But that experience and the momentum gave him confidence to go in there with a world-class person like Erislandy Lara. So I do blame, it's kind of like Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn, like I mentioned. For like swing rounds, Erislandy Lara should have made the adjustment to do what he's done in the past. Like, see, this is the thing, it doesn't really make sense to me. Again, you have to ask Erislandy Lara why his game plan was this. Maybe, like I said, the only thing I could think of is if he underestimated Jarrett Swift Hurd, or Swift Jarrett Hurd, and was thinking he wasn't that good or something. Because why would you fight Delvin Rodriguez and he can't do nothing with you, and he's not necessarily really bigger than you, and then you don't fight like this against Delvin Rodriguez, someone Cotto stopped in like 3 rounds. But then you take this big ass dude who's non-stop keeps trucking and keeps coming forward, putting an uncomfortable pressure on you, making you think, and then you choose to fight him super gung-ho like Timothy Bradley did Ruslan Provodnikov. That game plan doesn't really make sense to me. If anything, you switch those roles. You fight a Delvin Rodriguez and you stand toe-to-toe with him for 12 rounds, because he's less likely to drop you like Jarrett Hurd did in that 12th round. You know what I mean? It was apparent that Delvin Rodriguez couldn't do nothing with Lara. You know what I'm saying? So that seemed like a miscalculation in terms of the game plan, and you have to fault Lara for that. Just like Pacquiao was walking himself back to the ropes and stuff versus a game durable. It kind of reminds me of Pacquiao Horn, to be honest. It's that type of fight. Jeff Horn clearly is not as skilled and athletic maybe as Pacquiao. He doesn't move as well as Pacquiao, but through being durable and having a good punch and not backing down and having a lot of momentum and an undefeated record and stuff, he was able to keep trucking and keep pushing forward, keep putting a pace on, even when Pacquiao hurt Jeff Horn. So it kind of reminds me of that fight, to be honest. So I gotta blame Lara for that. I think he should have made some adjustments to not just sitting there and trade with this dude. Especially as fatigue starts to set in, you see Lara's body language change. Plus, as I mentioned, credit to Jarrett Hurd, that early body work pays dividends later, especially on a mover or a guy who's a bit older. You know what I mean? And especially when you guys have to understand, it's hard to keep a guy who's way bigger than you off of you for 12 rounds. You want to conserve energy and not give him. So I don't know. I don't know what Lara's deal with him and Ronnie Shields. I don't know if he had a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if he was kind of disrespecting Hurd and thinking he wasn't that good, so he just felt, oh, I'm gonna show this kid what's up. I fought taller guys like Paul Williams, but styles make fights. A very good fight. I was really thoroughly entertained by it. Now let's talk about Hurd versus Charlo. Great fight. I don't know if he wants to do a tune-up or go straight into the Charlo fight. I think Hurd has to work on his defense a little bit because Jermell is hungry and he's strong as hell, and he's mean in there too. So you might not want to get hit with some of those shots. Hurd did say post-fight that Lara hit him, had the most pop out of all the guys he's fought. So over Tony Harrison and Austin Trout, which I can understand, because part of Lara's snap on his punches comes with like precision and accuracy, and that Lara's straight left and his left hand is warm butter. You might as well set the microwave for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and put that butter in the microwave and hit start, because Lara's left is no joke. You know what I mean? So this was just overall a great fight. The Charlo fight is an awesome fight. Again, Hurd has some things going for him. He's big, he's durable, he's strong. He has, looks like the champion mentality. He just told me post-fight that he feels he beat the #1 person in the division other than him. So he feels he's #1. He got the most belts, so he's going to be hungry. So the Charlo fight is really combustible because you got two of the guys who are both screaming the same thing. It's a must-see fight. Showtime's killing him. Thoroughly enjoyed Hurd, Lara. Congrats to Jarrett Swift Hurd. I'm anxious to see what's next for him. But people keep doubting him and he keeps turning up. You know what, he's reminding me of kind of a Badu Jack type too at 154, where it's like, it's not like he's doing something that looks so crazy and special like Roy Jones, or there's a lot of pizzazz, but at the same time it's effective. He's using his strengths to his advantage, and he has a workman-like performance. And that 12th round was crazy. That was like everything that you want from a boxing. They had the high stakes, the high-speed chess match, action both ways. Both guys hurt each other, I would say. And then the 12th round, you had some drama. So, great fight. That's the Realest breakdown. Can't wait to see what's next. Again, there's no real loser in a fight like this. I think Lara, he should have just made some subtle switches, because that knockdown really cost him in a close fight. And again, he shouldn't have, especially as you fatigue, he got lazy with it and got caught with the hook. And Hurd probably studied the El Perro Angulo fight before this fight, because that's the fight where Lara looked pretty vulnerable, and he's a bit older than he was when he fought Angulo. So just great performance from both. Definitely put it in my list of Fight of the Year nominees. Let me know what you guys thought of. That is the Realest breakdown. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing.